Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast.
With Christopher Lee and Peter Pascal.
We're very excited because Ari Aster has a new movie, and he made one of my most favorite movies, even though it's the most unpleasant, terrifying thing I've ever seen.
I find it very pleasant in a great way.
It reminded me of my childhood. It was awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
Midsummer.
Yeah,
Midsummer, Hereditary. They're incredible films. And he did one that Beau is Afraid. That's very sort of, a lot of people either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Right.
I saw it, and believe it or not, I liked it. I didn't love it, but it's worth watching. But he's got a new film that's coming out July 18th, and it's called Eddington, and it's a Western. It's like takes place in New Mexico. It's kind of a Western. I don't know if it's a horror film or not. I don't know that much about it, but here's the cast. Ready? Joaquin Phoenix, Austin Butler, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone, Candice Bergen, which is interesting.
Candice Bergen, okay.
Yeah. Luke Grimes. So great cast. And I just want to see the teaser. It's a teaser. It's a shorty.
All you had to do is say Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
He's in. I mean, how can you see a movie that doesn't have Pedro Pascal in it right
it's
now?
a rule that you have to see it, and you also have to watch the Apple commercial like 20 times. That's part of the rule, of the Pedro Pascal rule.
You're perfect.
He's perfection.
But it's Ari Aster, wrote and directed, so it's going to be an opus, that's for sure.
It's going to be weird.
Yeah. He's one of those. We'll talk about it after the trailer, but let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
Okay.
A24.
Okay.
And hold the work.
Of course, they keep looking at that lab in Wuhan, China. If you look at that lab in Wuhan when that was established, it was 1956. Of course, that was the year Tom Hanks was born, the first celebrity with the virus, Mr. Sleepless in Seattle.
If you value your life, you should think twice. Because the people of Eddington like guns.
Your pain is not a coincidence. You are not a coincidence. We are not a coincidence.
And I am speaking now to deny my husband's announcement yesterday, which was false.
Eddington, New Mexico, despite its meager population, is quickly being co-opted in online circles.
I'm ready to continue leading our town and fighting the pandemic and the racial
Love the tiny type.
Mm-hmm.
What? That was super cool. Rather unique trailer.
Yeah, the scrolling on it's amazing. It's like you're getting little clips of every potential storyline in a a little scroll with a thumb.
Get your characters. You get your. You basically put your story, kind of put the story together. It's
label what each character's name was. You got a context of who they all were in a very quick, easy way. Like that was really smart.
It's a very smart way to do a trailer, and something we all know and comfortable with doing. And it's like, oh, okay. And of course, you see great actors in it, which is impressive. And you don't know anything about the story, which is great too. But you're sort of like, you're like, okay, it's Ari Aster. I'm putting my trust in you. So go ahead.
The whole thing is sort of the scroll, the Insta scroll, But then at the very end, you see him in the bed, and like it kind of like something grim. There's a dark edge to it. So, I feel like Ari Aster is. I still think of him as a amazing horror film director, which I don't mean as a put down.
Oh hell no.
Well, they're calling it a contemporary Western horror film.
Oh, okay.
So you don't really get that from here, other than the fact that he's looking at it and seeing what is going on here. But it's going to open the Cannes Film Festival, which
he attacked protesters. So there's some legal issue going on with him for attacking protesters or something. And it seems like there's a little political vibe to it.
Well, yeah, they had the mayor who was doing announcements. We had him who's going on denouncing things. We have an overview of it looks like a community that was built in a certain area that they did things illegally. It sounds like he was like, they lied. We had Austin Butler saying they lied to us. So we have looks like there's a lot of legal weirdness going on, but I love the way that we're seeing the scroll. We don't know who's looking at it. We're looking at it. And then it cuts over to Joaquin Phoenix character. So you're seeing like that sort of, you get kind of a chill because we all know that chill of looking at social media and when things blow up on people. how terrifying that is. They did such a good job of showing that. Like, I'm denouncing my husband. Like, you see all these people yelling, and he's like, they're all yelling at me right now. Like, oh my God. So we have a very intriguing poster. What?
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. And it's hopefully symbolic. I don't want to see the buffaloes get hurt.
Well, it takes place during the pandemic. Hindsight is 2020. So it takes place May in 2020. So how does that the pandemic factor into this shot?
Well, I kind of look at it as, when this was happening, like they were chasing the buffalo off a cliff, and that buffalo would rather have thrown themselves off a cliff than to stay and see what their fate would be if these people chasing them with guns, like, or a predator as they saw them, like their lives are in danger, but they rather throw themselves off a cliff, which makes you think like maybe it's something to do with the fact that people sometimes to survive want to just throw themselves off a proverbial cliff.
Right.
It's a really disturbing shot. Fortunately, it looks very Photoshopped, thank God, or I would be not enjoying this poster at all.
But it's shocking. It's a shocking image, and it's a shocking idea. The idea of somebody willfully running. I mean, it's not people jumping off a cliff, it's buffalo, and buffalo are very American.
It's a very Western
American.
The poster style was very intriguing. Like, I think about it from marketing, because I do movie posters. I think, what was the sell through on that? That was a cool idea. Not only was it very retro looking, black and white, it looked like an old photo, like a vintage photo. It was buffalo. It had nothing to do with people. We didn't show our stars. We had like a cool hit of bright color on it. And then even the trailer had the teeny tiny little title on it, which was also really cool stylistic choice. Like, everything about this was so unique. A24, A+, right?
I have a feeling that Ari Aster had something to do with the choices for that.
I'm sure he approved it.
He's got. I think he might have nightmares about falling off a cliff, because there was a big horrible cliff scene in Midsummer too.
It was.
And I mean, not Midsummer 2, but Midsummer as well. And that's one of the memorable horror scenes in that film. And when I saw this, that it reminded me of that. And then I looked closer, and it's like, oh, Ari Aster.
But looks intriguing. We don't have a ton of information, but incredible cast. Looks really well done trailer, very unique, and great marketing. Looking forward to
like Joaquin Phoenix.
And he's and even though Bo Is Afraid was sort of a box office failure and it was a misstep, it's still, it was a filmmaker making his own film, and we always champion that. And I think he's doing that here, and maybe this will be a little bit better received as far as box office. But I'm excited to see it, because I think he's one of those few filmmakers that you have to see his movies.
I want filmmakers to make the art they want to make. It's kind of like that. It's kind of a storyline in the show The Studio that's on Apple. There's the ones that want to make the big box office Kool-Aid about Kool-Aid.
Right.
And there's the art house film. Or they actually had the director a Smile, where he wanted to do an art house horror film, and they were like, no, we want this big stupid rip off of your own movie. Like, love that. Like, tried to take a big swing, did his art, did what he wanted to do. Did it succeed? Maybe not, but we should always want our directors to do what they want to do. I want to watch those films. I want to know what's in their head. So whether I'm going to like the film,
exactly.
I still admire when a filmmaker can get the movie made they want to make. So yes, do it, Ari Aster.
Yeah, and you see, and that's the thing that we've always said. We did a review of that film Mother that was the same kind of thing about him. That he makes his own
Aronofsky,
films. Darren Aronofsky makes his own films, and it's like,
do it,
take it or leave it. I'm an artist.
That's right.
Here's my work, and I love that. Whether or not I like you said, whether or not I love or don't love the movie, I still respect the art and the artist.
Be surprised. I'd rather be surprised and disappointed than just kind of it was fine. It was fine.
Absolutely, 100%.
What's the #1 movie right now? Minecraft, huge, massive hit, unwatchable. There's no way I can see that movie. So it's like, I'm glad there's big successes. I want the movies to come back to the theaters. I want big hits, but I also want little weird movies that aren't necessarily.
And those big failures tend to end up being classics 20, 30, 40 years later. People look back and go, wow, that was we misread that film.
Because box office is not an indicator of quality or artfulness. It's like,
and how much do we miss David Lynch?
Exactly. I know.
Yes.
Well, you have Ari Aster. We'll hope
you have Ari Aster.
And a few other directors. So check it out. Eddington coming out this a big summer blockbuster, July 18th.
Okay.
Okay, everybody. Take care.